Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. The hourglass is ticking as the regulators allow ambiguity in the United States to continue for crypto and digital asset regulation. We got Galaxy Digital in the news losing $300 million, and there's a lot more to discuss there. You hate to see it. FTX, BTC, we're going to talk about that. We also have Senator's new crypto bill, CFTC's Rostam Benin. We're going to talk about that. Did he just endorse disguised investors for the first ICO in digital asset world? We're going to talk about that. And how about when settlement? We got some thoughts on it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and give us a follow on TikTok now at Digital Perspectives No Spaces. Growing like crazy over there with the highlight reels and clips. You're going to want all of them. $1.339 trillion market cap for crypto. It is abysmal this morning, but I tell you, here we go. Another day in crypto. This is what it's like. You got to have the stomach of a buzzard to be in this space. We're off by 1.7%, but we're off by a lot more than that when 3+ trillion was our crypto market high for the space. Take a look at this. Bitcoin now 29,800 plus. Ethereum $2,000 slightly north. And we see XRP at 41 cents this morning, still off by 26% on the 7-day. Here, take a look at the range of price very quickly. Lots of news to go over this morning. 41 cents on the bottom, 45 cents on the top. Let's get into this. Take a look at this. We talk about the planets aligning right here. Link2 and Glimppay have come together for a Link2 meetup down in Florida, and it was so much fun having Jason Cousins, the CEO of Glimppay, join us at our member event in Orlando. Glint is doing big things, and we have exciting partnership synergy coming soon. It was a special surprise when Jason found out how many people there were that were also his customers. I tell you, shout out to Jason Cousins from Glimppay, and shout out to Nick Burafedo from Link2. And the two families together, coming together, is a great synergy. You guys know I love Link2 for private equity. By the way, great prices and sales right now, especially on Ripple shares. Make sure you go check it out. Register if you're not accredited. Glimppay, great for buying gold, being able to buy, save, send, and spend. I'm using it to hedge inflation, and it's an amazing product. I love working with them both. Links underneath the video. Take a look at this. 120 million XRP moved, and not a one of them was to my wallet. Now that's a problem, ladies and gentlemen, right there. However, I do want to tell you that, I do find that when I see this, I always tend to think to myself that this has got to be related more to ODL than anything else. And speaking of ODL, we're going to get into the second video today where we talk about ODL and many other things. And we're also going to talk about, before we get out of this video, some different ideas and thoughts on settlement. We're going to get into that. Right now, we see Galaxy Digital and Mike Novogratz are bracing themselves for a massive $300 million loss following the crypto market tumble. I hate to see anybody lose money, but for this guy, I tell you, he's got a much bigger loss than the $300 million he's looking at and staring down the barrel of. You know what it is? It's a little thing called integrity, and for which I can tell you he has none at my house. All the best, Michael. Take a look right here. Coinbase, another one that's short on a little thing called integrity. In this world and age of the internet, integrity does not really mean a lot to a lot of people. They're anonymous. They say whatever they want to people, keyboard warriors, trolls, all these things. But I tell you, integrity is something you cannot buy. And here we see that Coinbase is talking. Well, let's play the clip here. Let's play the clip. Listen.
Of regulatory action, and I don't think I'm surprising anyone here by referring to XRP, which we suspended back in January of 2021. So we've paused our listing for XRP. That case, of course, that asset rather is subject of active litigation with the SEC. But we're not endorsing any specific characterization of any asset or any particular interpretation of the law. we're doing what we think is in the best interest of Coinbase customers, and always keeping an open mind to changes in facts and circumstances that might make it appropriate or less appropriate to have an asset on our exchange.
You know, I have to say, that is just, it's ridiculous. Because they halt XRP listing and trading, but somehow the research and compliance team found that it had no problem with listing Terra Luna. Okay, got it. You need a new research and compliance team. How about that one? That didn't take long, did it? I'm glad to help. I'll invoice you the consulting bill. Look right here. We see that there is no confusion for Sam. Sam from FTX here, Sam Bankman-Fried, he lays it down. He says, listen, Bitcoin has no future as a payments network, says FTX chief. And then XRP Crypto Wolf adds in there, and we all know XRP is the future of payments. Yes, we do. XRP Crypto Wolf knows the deal. Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole article to you, but he says it right there. Bitcoin has no futures payments because of its inefficiency, higher environmental costs, according to one crypto's most influential executives. It's just simple. The Bitcoin network is not a payment network. It is not a scaling network. I even had a comment. Let me pull this up really quick. Take a look at this. Here's a comment from Sam Bankman-Fried right here talking about his statement that he made about Bitcoin not working as a payment network. And then Jack, formerly of Twitter here, says, and you didn't bring up Lightning because... Well, listen, here's the real deal. Lightning doesn't work. I reported, Jack, that CNBC went down to El Salvador. They tried to make a couple transactions. They got hit with a transaction, never got the product, and it took 2 to 8 hours for transactions to go through. Any questions? There's a deeper question we need to be asking, Jack. Sam told the truth. Lightning is failing in El Salvador right now. I don't say this as a maxi either, but a bigger, slightly different question we should be asking is, why not get Bitcoin moved to proof of stake instead? Proof of work is not necessary to run a blockchain. Then you could free Bitcoin from the environmental crosshairs that it's currently in. That's where it is right there today. Take a look at this. Ripple SBI partner holdings to buy controlling stake in BitPoint for $99 million. Still going. Yoshitaka Katawa over there ain't playing around, and basically they said they will form a capital and business alliance with SBI to expand its business through crypto collaboration. According to the report, SBI will also take a 5% stake in Remix Point, which is a part of the BitPoint company, and it says the reported note the deal involves a provision that would entitle Remix Point to receive future compensation if BitPoint meets a number of financial goals. So there you have it. Shout out to Ripple partner SBI on that one. I'm reminding people that I covered this over the weekend. One of the key 6 players in Britain's crypto list is, in fact, Cindy Young. And I think it's important to highlight this again for everyone because she's head of European operations in Ripple. Talks extensively here about how the XRP is used as a product there. Coming from MasterCard and HSBC, she knows all about payments. And then there's Chris Larsen, just the other day, was over in London meeting with the mayor of London right there. Hello, Chris. How are you? Is he thinking about moving over there? In the early days of the case, the argument was made, hey, maybe we just need to pick up and get out of here, right? Maybe they're going to put a flagship office over there. Maybe we end up seeing XRP get a designation we're not too favorable of. We're going to take a look at both sides of that equation before we get out of here too. But the possibility of them going to London or at least having a large presence there is obviously on the table. He's not there for nothing. 4 years. The ECB could be ready to issue a digital euro within 4 years, a senior official said. Really? They do realize there is a global liquidity crisis that could benefit greatly from converting to a new financial system that uses central bank digital currencies, collateralized, fully backed by multi-asset system and the velocity of money, right? Oh, brother. But anyway, let's come back here at home. We see some alignment with overseas as well. Just in, U.S. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce says stablecoins are likely to be regulated in light of the Terra crash. And in here, we also see UK government confirms they will regulate stablecoins following the Luna crash. Catching a theme here, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, if you ask Gary Gensler, he doesn't want clear framework. And that's how the SEC makes their money, picking winners and losers. The SEC's version of good old-fashioned payola. For those that don't know what payola is, because I'm old enough to know, it's back in the early days of the radio industry when the radio stations would make you pay to play your song on the radio. And then I believe it was the FCC or FTC that came in. No, I think it was the FCC communications that came in and squashed all of that. And that is really, highly reminiscent of where we are today in this digital world with these agencies really working a pay-to-play system. It is despicable. Really quickly, here's the clip of Senator Loomis and Gillibrand talking about their bill right here.
You're also seeing cryptocurrency companies approach the SEC and having delays in getting approvals, partly because there is not an adequate regulatory framework that the regulators can use as a reference and the industry can use as a guideline. So that's among the reasons that Senator Gillibrand and I have joined forces to create a comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets.
And there you have it. But the problem is Gary Gensler doesn't want any bright line test or clarity because that's where the ambiguity pays the SEC. And here's CFTC Rostin Benham, who you always start out hoping that they're going to be really good for the agency and the crypto space, helping define things. But I tell you, this is quite disappointing from Rostin Benham here. So the CFTC and the SEC are cooperating with each other. He is going to tell you in just a second. This tells me what we are watching with Gary Gensler's actions towards crypto has the blessing of Congress and the CFTC. This is bad theater, folks. Take a listen.
I mean, there is some disagreement between the two agencies about who should be in charge here, right?
Well, I wouldn't say there's disagreement. We're each trying to do what's best. And right now, and we saw this last week, a lot of people got hurt. A lot of value was lost in the market. And there really are no customer protections right now. We have a number of state level regulations and oversight. But in terms of market oversight, in terms of disclosures, we don't really have much right now as it relates to traditional financial markets. I've made this argument before. Our markets, whether it's the derivatives market or the securities markets, are the best in the world because of the regulations we have, the accountability and the enforcement behind the legal structure. And I think it's important as we continue to see this market scale and integrate itself into more traditional financial markets, we need to put forward a regulatory framework that will protect customers, make appropriate disclosures, and ultimately, for those who support the industry, I think support its growth and maturity over the next couple of years. So regardless of what the narrative might be about the differences between us and the SEC, I think we are both like-minded in the fact that we want to regulate this thoughtfully, protect customers, protect financial stability, and we'll figure out the details of what might constitute a security, what might constitute a commodity, and do what we've done in the past, whether it was after the financial crisis or going back many decades when we had to parse out security futures and commodity futures.
Well, here's really a fun thing. This would be fun, wouldn't it? Why don't we have Rostin Benham in one room? And why don't we have Gary Gensler in another room? Let's give them a list of the cryptocurrencies that exist today, and let's have them both separately tell us which is which, right? Let's do that, because I guarantee you that they do not come out with the same damn list. But I'll tell you this, there's two of them that they agree on, and it's right here. And it is this, and I want you to hear this because what I'm hearing out of this is I just heard Rostin Benham, the new head of the CFTC, just endorsed the first ever ICO, which was Ethereum, and the disguised whale investors that they did the fundraiser with out of his mouth, and it's despicable. I tell you right now, something's got to be done, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen to this.
There's a lot of back and forth. There's a Senate bill that's made its way through that would leave the SEC in charge of a large portion of the oversight. I think it would move some of the regulation to the CFTC. Are you familiar with that bill, and what do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of an age-old issue between the CFTC and the SEC. We have a great relationship historically. We continue to communicate and work together. We have a lot of common registrants, but within this space, in my view, it makes sense for commodities to be regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and securities to be regulated by the SEC. And within the sphere of digital assets and the coins, which make up thousands and thousands, there are naturally going to be some commodities and some securities. And in my view, it makes sense to sort of parse through the two and figure out where we can place each. And it's going to be difficult because from a legislative standpoint, again, given what I said earlier, given the novelty of some of these coins and the technology, we're going to have to figure out what would constitute a security under the traditional securities law and what would constitute more of a commodity so that we can regulate appropriately given the two different legal structures.
Listen to this.
It's tricky. It's all in the eye of the beholder. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, has said he thinks most of those tokens are securities under the law right now. Does that sound about right to you?
Well, I could say for sure Bitcoin, which is the largest of the coins and has always been the largest regardless of the total market cap of the entire, digital asset market capitalization, is a commodity. So
here we go.
Ether as well. I've argued this before. My predecessors have as well, is a commodity. So there may be, in fact, hundreds, if not thousands of security coins, but there are plenty of commodity coins. And I think it makes sense, as we've done historically, to make sure that each agency has jurisdiction over commodities and security.
I tell you, I find this to be fascinating because apparently one of the qualifications to be a regulator at either the CFTC or the SEC is not having integrity. Isn't that interesting? Oh, brother. I tell you, this is really despicable. This is really despicable, and we should all be incensed, not angry, incensed by what we're seeing here. There is a plan playing out, and I am convinced they have already all agreed on what it is. And they are willing to sacrifice their own personal integrity to put that plan in place. Ethereum is absolutely an ICO that has gone unchallenged and rewarded with a free pass even. And this is really despicable. Now, let's talk about the idea of this for a second before we get out of here. It's when settlement announced. This is Crypto Whale giving his perspective here. He believes the price will fast soar to all-time high. 72 hours later, exchanges will begin to relist, he says. After some chart movement, we will settle around $40 to $65, he believes, and Ripple starts to announce U.S.-based customers. Products go live. U.S. banks go live with XRP. We will see $500 XRP. That's his thoughts, just kind of throwing them out there for everybody, and I appreciate him throwing them out there. I happen to wonder if we don't see something like this that's worth considering. It's here from Darwin Boy. He says, with the rumors of Ripple possibly moving to London getting around, my mind started ticking over. Imagine this as a scenario. SEC succeeds in classifying XRP as a security in the USA, and Ripple moves to London to continue their business. JPM Morgan becomes the wholesale U.S. dollar CBDC, and USDC becomes the retail-facing digital dollar, which is backed by Goldman. Both of these U.S. dollars only function within the walled gardens of the USA and any other country that decides to use the U.S. dollar instead of their sovereign currency. All other countries develop their own digital dollars that also function only within their own countries, walled gardens. The CBDCs and retail digital dollars run on ISO-compliant blockchains within their walled gardens. The XRP ledger connects all the walled gardens together, the XRP ledger being a public good that is also at its core a giant decentralized exchange, utilizes on-demand liquidity hub, pathfinding, and oracles like network, Flare networks, along with Quant to mobilize the tokenized value on the planet and make every tokenized asset instantly exchangeable. The results in the SEC getting a big win and potentially temporarily crashing the price of XRP and scaring the retail holders out before Ripple moves to London, and only accredited investors and institutions being able to buy back into XRP. The destruction of Luna shows how easily a big project can be smashed apart, but it would be very easy for XRP to come back once all the retail holders are gone and have its price increase to a point where it would have the ability to truly handle all the money. Bitcoin remains as digital gold, and ETH2 becomes Web3 smart contracts provider. BTC and ETH are critical for the success of the XRP ledger, as the XRP ledger needs their liquidity to tang pairs to be able to help it function properly. Trading pairs is what he meant to say, not tang pairs, but trading pairs. And there you have it. I think those two scenarios are pretty fantastic here. And I would say, as a side note, XRP as a security, Ripple would have to agree to this through settlement, and it would come after we get the caught with your pants down Hinman emails. I don't know if Ripple would agree to categorize XRP as security per se. SEC has no leverage, thus the extensions. That could be true too, but listen to this. It could end up as a note. The US dollar is a note, which actually is a type of security. Most people won't understand the difference and just freak out at a security designation. Digital Perspective has great videos on his theory on XRP maybe being a note. I appreciate the nod, and people would do themselves justice to really go watch some of those videos. He says, don't take this too seriously. It's just musing over a curious mind, and it's healthy to do so. Listen, it's speculation, and then people, you're speculating. Of course we're speculating. If you're hearing my voice, you too are a speculator, because that's how early we are in this space. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with somebody you know. I'll catch all of you on the next one, and you're going to want to catch the next one.